you see colored bars there for a minute? Did you see colored bars for a minute?
Yeah.
I don't know why, except for never shutting off. And what can you pull back? I'm good, I'm glad you gave us in the middle of setting up this Zoom. Or you.
I don't know why we're having that problem. Okay. Let me go down here. More. Okay. Stop more. That's a good question. I don't know what I'm doing, so. Live on YouTube. Okay, it will be shown, right? Yeah. No. 854 2302 1174. And Esther 545478. Did you go live on
Here, that's where I'm watching it at. Okay.
yeah.
Second play.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll hold it.
Thursday, and then
There's
I'm on the shelters.
I don't see you. No. Go ahead, George.
No, I'm in.
You're in?
Yeah, I'm expecting to see.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And I was there, but. I know this on the, we have to do a powers.
That's from yourself. Is that her?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's absolutely phenomenal. Thank you. Yeah, no. Figure out how we can put that maybe before we open up the meeting. And so we can do in the background. It came to me last part, yeah, and then so they, allow you to share screen?
Allow me to share screen. I might be allowed, I don't know.
Okay. I can do it for everybody. I'm not sure where to talk. Hang on, Paul, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, Paul, I'm not sure how do we share a screen for Paul can put that, all right, so,
Yeah, right there.
okay. And iPhone? You want it through your iPhone?
No,
No? Okay, what do I,
Let's see,
select a window or an application that you want to share. All right,
it says the host disabled participant screen sharing. He needs to enable participants. I don't know if he can just enable me or if he has to.
okay, say this again,
um,
get out of here.
okay, yeah, click over on
All right, let me get
there. And,
here.
no, let's see, we're recording live on YouTube. Okay, click on here.
Here?
Just anywhere on there, yeah. What do we get? Options. And then the screen share. Hit
How does this thing start?
here, yeah.
7, so we have
And then click
50 minutes.
All right.
Up here?
there, yeah.
Okay,
Share here.
all right.
All right, did that give you?
So you started screen sharing.
Yeah,
I'm still disabled. Participants are disabled.
okay, so I've got to get back here. I
You
don't
got to
know
go down to participants, I think.
Okay,
Go back into where we were doing the settings for the YouTube.
how do I do that? Okay, go back here. Oh, boy. I don't know how to get out of this. How do I get out of here? All right. Shit. All right. I don't know how to stop sharing. All right. All right. We came down here to, wait, system share. That's not what I want to do. I got to go to, it says, who can share? Only host or all participants?
All participants.
Okay. Okay. You're there. You should be there. You are screen sharing. All right.
Can you stop sharing your screen? because you are,
Move to the left, left of the green area, right there. Okay, now we're gonna drop down on participants.
Yeah. Okay. Invite, right?
No, that's not it.
No. You know, hey. Okay. You know what? Let's not do this right now. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Okay, this is I'm lost. Okay.
all right.
All right. I think we need to have a little bit more practice. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try one more time here.
Okay.
Nope.
Too bad. It would be
You
nice.
know what? I might have it, how much time do we have?
Well, it goes live. It's
Minutes.
yep. Yeah, but we go live at 6:30. Okay.
Oh,
So we have 10 minutes.
We have 15. Right.
Give me a second here.
Sure.
When's Capon coming?
very soon. I just talked to him.
Okay.
He had to take a different route to get in because of, a closure at one of the exits.
Always something.
Mhm.
Holy good grief. Nothing like that.
All right, we might not,
Okay.
can you see us still?
Yeah. Gotcha.
All right, as long as, all right, I'm not screwing anything up, so I'm gonna continue to look here for a second.
Okay.
Besides, it doesn't even matter if you go on late. I mean, you're not starting till 7, right?
That is correct.
Program itself, right?
Right. They're going to start coming in here. They're waiting to get in right now. Okay. So
Oh, I found it.
you
I
did?
found-
Oh, yay.
Uh, uh, plus. As well. Screen sharing on. Alrighty then, let's see if this works. No,
Mm.
Okay.
that's not.
I think it's got to be something in there that enables me to give that to you.
No, it's on my end.
It's on your end? Okay.
Yeah, I
All
have,
right.
security and privacy.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. Well,
Did you do that?
yeah. All right. I don't know what you did here. Okay. Don't do that. It scared me.
Well, see,
Yeah.
because you haven't made me a co-host yet.
Yeah.
I just went and tried to share my screen,
Yeah.
and since we turned that on for everybody,
Got it.
that could happen. It probably won't.
Yeah.
But
So,
we need to be ready to shut it off.
okay. Let's, how do we shut that off? Go back to
Will we need it in the beginning?
only host. No. Let's shut that sharing part down. Okay. Until we know what we're doing. All right. You,
All right, we're
Okay.
done.
yeah.
We're done playing.
No.
Mm.
Okay, from where you're at, Paul, can you initiate it?
Hmm?
If you move the cursor over, can you click in the green box there? Okay,
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
because you were probably logged on before you enabled it.
Possibly.
Yeah. Because I just popped on there a little bit ago. And I did click there, and then that's when
But
my-
I just shut it all
I
down.
might have my, because I use this computer a lot to do this and I don't want to accidentally share something that
Right.
somebody can see.
Right.
Mhm. No, I
What would
Okay.
that be?
Probably my tax records.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
let your mind go there.
I knew that'd be something simple.
See, I told you.
Yeah, you're right. Everything you said about her is true.
Yeah, really good. The only trouble was,
also on the website for the Gatehouse Group, I've just added the live link. Since we've got that up and running for YouTube.
Good.
So we may in the beginning say, if you choose to go to YouTube, make room for others coming in here. Here's the link.
Excellent.
Jeff's here.
And Mike,
Hey, yes, Jeff's here.
okay, can you make a quick disclaimer that if there are any technical difficulties during the broadcast, don't go away because we'll resolve them immediately. Like if we get those colored bars again,
Yeah,
tell them
Okay.
don't leave because
yeah. Trying to figure out. Yeah, yeah.
if you remember, or
Okay.
would that be you?
Actually, I'm not sure where I put that at. That would be in a chat room, but I'm not giving anybody the ability to chat.
No, I can do it. I can make the announcement because when I see a problem here,
Right. Stick on, we're having communications problem. Okay.
yes, you don't go away, we'll be,
Don't go
All right.
away. Our crack IT team is on it.
that's right.
Yes. The magnificent, outstanding, stand tall, Mr. Paul is on it.
Wow, hey, I kind of like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
gets,
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask me to repeat it. What's his name? It's in the backyard. Okay. Cutting the grass. Let me yell at him. Hang on. Hey, Paul.
I like that.
Yeah.
oh,
Can't follow Mr. Paul.
Yeah. All right. You like that, huh? Way
I'm
tall,
gonna
Mr. Paul.
remember that one.
yeah,
No, I won't remember that.
he will.
Yeah, I will. I
Will
remember.
you? Oh, wait, we're recording this.
See, now, here, and I'm just reading about the absolute honesty.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes.
You better brush up. I
Yeah.
better, let me get out of here so you
Okay.
can
Well,
Yeah,
this should be for,
Yeah.
get your groove going
Yeah.
here.
yeah. Hey, Jeff,
I'm gonna leave
can
this.
we have you back in the room just to do some testing there? Thank you.
Just
Okay. Got it, bud. Thank you. Uh,
All right. Yes. Jeff?
oh, you brought your mouse in. I forgot my mouse. I had to go home and get it.
I don't care about minutes.
Be careful.
do you care which way you sit?
No.
Which side?
We want to know which side is your good side.
Yeah.
I don't have a good side.
Okay, well, then we have to.
Back surgery, that's all.
Okay.
Ooh,
You got it? Yeah. Okay.
We have to wear these masks?
No,
No,
Good.
we have sprayed the area.
Oh.
Okay.
You-
All
yeah.
right.
Do they have to scoot in a little bit or
oh,
are they
I
good?
will, I scooted back, so,
You're good. Guys are comfortable. Okay.
no, I'll
Be
scoot out.
careful not to kick, if you want to stretch out, don't kick the tripod legs, which are down
Yep.
in front of the table there. It's a long reach,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying.
Something's a
The
table.
computer will end up on the floor.
That's
We don't want that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lighting going on here, man. Photography stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, it's it's kind of cute.
We want to use this for something that we are keeping quiet.
Yeah.
Day of Founder's Day. We're not
Uh-huh.
taking.
Yeah. Come back. We know we got it pretty much. Yeah.
So
This
I
was,
read that about 15 years ago.
okay, well, remember, give yourself a quick brush
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Put myself some.
Well, I've been reading this thing.
Okay. He's got to go to Dr. Bob's, set him up or do something.
I know,
Okay.
maybe it's well, this is pages long, so maybe it's,
This is what's in the condensed version.
oh, okay.
So
I went over to,
Really? That big, are they in the one with that big TV that's up above the,
the absolute,
ooh, I'll tell you what,
they didn't
my
have it.
lines.
I didn't even know what I was talking about. So.
what kind of questions are you gonna ask?
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just gonna- I'll show you what I've got written up.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, if you could be back by, hey,
Why did somebody tell me that?
10 to 7. Can
Oh,
you?
there's one of them.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Got it. All right.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other day.
Oh,
All
really?
right. Yeah. Okay, Jeff, you're live on YouTube.
I am?
Yeah, and not yet, but
Oh,
soon.
it will be.
Yeah. And you're going to be recorded up to the what's that big thing they say? The sky, the net, the
Satellite?
where they
Cloud?
the cloud. Yes.
Wow.
There, yeah. God knows where you are in the clouds, but you're there with Harmon.
Woo!
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wrote this kind of thing up in the intro.
Really. Okay.
I did a little homework.
Yeah. By the way, your goatee looks great. Did you color the top of your mustache a little bit or what?
No.
Really?
It's all
Why?
natural.
Okay, then good.
It's
No,
my hair is natural.
no.
Going gray up.
That's what happens to mine. I had a shave. Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
it doesn't darker.
Actually, yeah. Do that. If you
You
want to
got
make a point, you can.
Yeah.
But you gotta look up. If you're trying
Yeah.
to.
Okay. So remember, it's 1935. It's about the same type of weather, and you guys got to start smoking. Okay, because
I gave that up so long ago. Don't make me do that again.
both those guys smoked. You got to remember.
I
Look at the
know.
size of that room, and
They must have opened the windows, so they had to have opened the windows in the smaller, because
yeah,
the door was closed.
Did they have Yoda coffee cups back then?
Or plastic water bottles. Yeah,
no, they had porcelain coffee cups.
yeah, they could put them on.
Coffee was nickel. Yeah,
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, when they first started meeting at Dr. Bob's house, Ann made copious amounts of coffee. Fortunately, it was pretty cheap back then.
Charles
Oh.
is, he's all nervous that, he's all nervous.
Okay.
Yes. Right?
You know, and just let it go. Okay. And
All
as
nervous.
I'm going to close this, the door to the kitchen because we're picking up him. No, we're picking up the voices from there.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, but Mike, you're going to need to move your microphone because we can.
Here,
Oh, no,
everything-
I'm going mute. Okay.
Oh, excellent.
yeah, you're loud in here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, you're sitting right there. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. So,
nice setup you guys got.
Yeah.
yeah.
Microphone, little gadget up top.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles is like, well, why didn't they ask someone up? I'm like, you really gonna?
Well, okay. So who is Charles?
Charles is he's the HR person of the intergroup office.
Oh,
Who knows?
why is he?
He's on the board, kind of thing.
Because he's on the board. That's why he's here.
No, he's also a liaison to the gatehouse. To
Yeah. Well,
he's like a
yeah.
he's something.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful and refer to the fellowship versus Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
Right? Is that
Right.
correct?
We are not associated with or around. We have nothing to do with Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, we're out. We support their mission. Okay, and we're here just to talk about the 4 absolutes.
Right.
That's it.
I got
Okay.
something written
All right.
too, and I can skip through what I wrote.
We're showing people how the 4 absolutes started the 12 steps, and that's where it came from. Okay.
Well, yeah, but you know, there's another piece of the Oxford group which is what Bob used that first time he was sober, or the second time he was sober after the AMA convention, and they couldn't find him for so long after the surgery they sobered him up for, because he was doing what they did in the Oxford group, the self-examination, confessing their character defects, make restitution, and giving without expected reward. So that's not part of the 4 absolutes, but it's
No.
part of the 4 absolutes, and that which 4 years later the book was written.
Right.
And published.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you can refer to is to the preamble, page 51 of the 4th edition, and it talks about honesty all through that whole thing.
Mhm.
Rarely have we seen people fail who honestly, okay,
So probably
let's
followed it.
go. I'll go through that whole thing. I've read that over and over. I think it's page. Okay, I got to watch which edition I'm talking about because I grew up on edition 3.
Yeah.
And page 45 in edition 3, they talk about. I forget how it's worded, and it just has a reflection back to the 4 absolutes. I'm not really sure all the wording. I don't have that. Yeah. So there's very few things there that says Oxford. In fact, I don't think there's 0.
I don't think there's anything in the big
No.
book that uses the word.
Words, okay, are there. We talk about absolute honesty. Okay. So you're safe to quote that if you wish to quote that because you read it. Okay. And
So we're not allowed to use anything Alcoholics Anonymous?
no, I refer it to the fellowship.
So,
Outside. Remember,
you know,
this is being broadcast throughout the world. Okay.
Yeah, we've got some
Great.
in Australia.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
From
It's no big thing. Okay,
Yeah, that's a big thing.
No
Yeah,
pressure.
just way to put me on the spot here.
okay.
Yeah, don't tell him anything more. Let him, he's already done his homework.
Okay, good. Listen, all we're talking about is the
Okay.
four absolutes were the precursor to the 12 steps. That we can say.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, what's interesting, one of the things that Harmon taught me was that, that Bill Wilson, I mean, it's in our history that alcoholics can't be absolutely anything but drunk.
Right.
I mean, that's
true.
in it's in our history book as a quote. And, so they moved away from the Oxford groups. And one of the things they did, though, what Bill did is he actually put the four absolutes in reverse form in our 10th step.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize
I
that,
lose that. Yeah.
on page 84, it says, continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear, and that's the opposites of the absolutes.
That's right.
Yeah, selfishness is selfless.
Yeah.
Dishonesty is honesty. Resentment is purity, and fear is love.
Which is great because the things I just mentioned to you too, Mike, about besides the four absolutes, the ideas that the Osher group used for reaching the surrender to God, achieved through the self-examination.
If you can document that and where you're reading it from, you're okay to say this. Okay. If it's already pre-written somewhere, okay, and you have that documentation, you have to refer back to that documentation where you're getting it from. Okay, so whatever you were reading to me, Jeff, that was out of the
Facebook.
big book. Tell the page. Okay.
So if I said page 84 in the big book, can I say? I can't say the big book though, right?
Well,
You can see the book of Alcoholics Anonymous on page 84 states this. Boom. Just read it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not.
I wish I had.
How do you? Okay. How
I
do
got
you?
talked to Rob and the good old timers. Where
Yeah,
my stuff, some of this
Well,
stuff came from.
that's where a lot of the history of this comes. A lot of the history of
right.
the Oxford movement is in there.
Exactly.
So if
Okay.
you have that, I have that at home. But,
I have it at home too. I didn't bring it with me.
I mean, yeah.
Enjoy yourself. Do not get up on. We did not say anything about Alcoholics Anonymous on our website anywhere else. Okay.
Hey, we mailed out a postcard for Founders Day that said,
I know that.
Hello?
Yep. I was.
What a bunch of maroons.
My question is, okay, do you remember that the pamphlet, the trifold you had? You know the word celebrate on it?
Yeah.
Okay, you know who put that on?
You?
Harmon and I did, yes. Do you know how long it took us? 5
No.
years.
To get it approved.
Yeah. So
This was something that was looked at by probably over 20 people.
That's crazy.
That went right through our fingers. Everybody. It was not one singular person. It wasn't even a singular.
you weren't looking at.
You weren't even
were
thinking.
looking at. Yeah. We looked at this a long time ago. Postcards. We wanted to keep our costs down. Couldn't get it it cost more per postcard than that trifold and putting it in an envelope. Then, okay. Today, I think you're better off making a website when you put all the stuff up on the website and just send out emails to everybody. Your cost goes down nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't send out any. Harmon wanted it to go through the intergroup. We were turned down. They said we do something about. I wasn't really sure, but anyways, I'm glad we didn't do that. We went beyond expectations. Okay, just by word of mouth, and through Dr. Bob had 37,000 YouTube, Facebook, everybody. Okay. And we just put a flyer out on that, and it's gone from there. And people we talk to, you know.
Oh, yeah, at meetings and,
Yeah. You know, the biggest salesman of this whole thing started 86 years ago was Bill. He was a phenomenal salesperson.
oh, sure.
Yeah. If you ever, thank God he didn't get his way all the time, because I think he had visions of being a multimillionaire. Okay. I started laughing at that today, and I said, okay, all I'm asking is that enjoy this, understand what the four absolutes and why we talk about it here. Okay. There are more people want to learn these things
Yeah.
than anything else, because it gives you a connection to some type of spirituality. And I just throw out the word absolute and just get into it and say, okay, there's honesty. The first step tells you honesty. To get that, you have to be honest with yourself. Okay. I mean, I'll go through each of the steps. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
That's you are, because we're not talking about the fellowship.
No.
So we can't go there.
Oh, what do you do? Where are we going? How am I gonna do this?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna do it all right.
Jasper, let him catch his breath.
Yeah.
And do you have to let people in?
Okay. It's what time is it?
Almost 22.
22.
20, yeah, about 22.
6:40. Okay. Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start letting people in. All right. So if you want to just have a conversation, I'm gonna mute. Okay. Okay, we're going live in 3 minutes. I'm gonna close your door. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah, watch. Okay.
Don't forget to mute.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I am going mute here. All right. All right. Everybody but.
The man behind the curtain. We can still hear you though.
2, 1, bang.
Remember how he did that to us when we were doing the promos? Okay.
So so they can hear us talking.
I don't know.
Well, there's nobody else now, but do you know how to use Zoom?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess.
So just oh my God, this is Paul G. I gotta rename that. See all these details. Oh shit, I can't rename.
No, you.
Yeah. Go ahead and try to rename it, but I think you got it disabled.
Evening.
Hello.
This is Robert from Virginia Beach.
Well,
Hello there.
I know, one day at a time, eh? It's a long way off here. At least you're not over here. You're
Hello.
over here. If your operation was gonna be over here, I don't know if you'd ever get it.
You should be able to now.
My operation's been put off.
I can hear.
I don't want to have this conversation.
Gatehouse. What do you want to do?
Selective surgery. I have bigger holes in my nose and my nose replaced.
I don't know if they're done.
It's not like.
Akron Gatehouse.
How come you sound so far away?
Hello, everybody. This is Mike Livingston. I'm from the Gatehouse. Can you hear me, guys? Okay. Claire, make an announcement, please. Tell everybody they are muted. Okay.
Yeah.
And just stay.
For his kidneys or for his
Okay.
bladder?
All right.
Or
Thank
his
you.
kidneys, okay.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know, liver, I imagine, but.
Not everyone is muted, Mike.
He has to mute us.
Okay. Okay. A lot of people are muted, as we need you to be,
Yeah, that's Michael.
and we ask that you stay muted because this is not a meeting. This is not a discussion. This is a historical information for you from the gatehouse at Stan Hewitt here in Akron, Ohio. So, yeah, people we know, we can see you. Hi. But so glad you joined us. So glad you're here. We have a few more minutes as we wait for other people to join us. We're glad that you're able to participate in this. So this is a work in progress. We're all very excited to be a part of this. Glad that you could be here and hope you will make the next 3 Mondays also. This week here at Stan Hewitt at the Gatehouse, where it all began. Then the next 2 weeks, as you know from the website, we will be at Dr. Bob's house. And we have different individuals who are sharing with us their take on the absolutes as we later find them in the fellowship. We will end this 4-week program series back here on the grounds of the Stan Hewitt Foundation at the Gate Lodge, as the Stan Hewitt group calls it, where we will have an outdoor last session of the 4 absolutes, and we will end with purity. So we chose the order of these from the original printing that the Cleveland group did of the introduction to the 4 absolutes. So they began with honesty, unselfishness, love, and purity. So while we may feel they run differently, it doesn't matter because it's all the same points that we've learned to incorporate in our lives today in the fellowship that we all participate in. It's a beautiful day here in Akron. Yesterday, Mother's Day was rain.
Snow.
Yeah, there was snow all day long. It was dreadfully gloomy. Today we've had sun. And getting into the early May weather, we are having, hopefully it'll stay light enough as we proceed through the program that we won't be too undone by the evening light as it comes in. This will be a 1 hour only. Wherever you're from, we are so glad you're here. Again, things are a little topsy-turvy than the way we originally planned because we lost our major speaker. Wonderful Harmon Veely passed away on Sunday a week ago. His funeral was Friday. He died doing exactly what he loved, which was running a marathon with his daughter. So a shock to us all. And if any of you had ever been participated in his not using the steps program, NUTS, you got to know him. Or if you got to attend other meetings in the Akron area and beyond, you may have met him. I am a home group member of the Peninsula 12 and 4 group. which Peninsula, for those who are from out of state or out of the area, is a lovely little village near Akron. And we met at a small church for years, but we have the 12 steps and the four absolutes. And the four absolutes became so important to us. We wanted to make sure that while we have meetings that use the four absolutes in part of the format, we wanted to do more, to provide more information on the history of the four absolutes and how they were developed into our fellowship. Got anything you want to add?
No.
No? Okay.
This is just kind of an introduction to, we still got 10 minutes before we start. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like if we keep rolling, we'll be repeating ourselves
Well, yeah, that's true. And more people are entering
as we go.
as we go. So we know that we have some amazing history books available for purchase at the Akron Intergroup office, which is also our archives here for the Akron Alcoholics Anonymous. But the other side of that is the individuals who are so much a part of this area and this history are also immortalized essentially there, so that any information that we have comes from official documentation, not just something we read once and thought we remembered it correctly. Many books published, and I am a retired librarian, so I made sure that my libraries, wherever I worked, had copies of the books that keep us going. So the history is there. What I'll share with you in a little bit is from Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers. If you haven't read it, it really gives us a great background into the four absolutes. Also, sitting in this room are some of the very books Henrietta Seiberling owned since she was a very avid member of the Oxford group. Her books are here. Many we cannot touch, but a few that we can. So this gives us the history also of the Oxford group as it came into Akron. We're grateful to the Seiberling Foundation and the Stan Hewitt grounds and history staff who have allowed us this opportunity to be inside the very room where Bill and Bob met 86 years ago. This past year, we were all living through the coronavirus and lockdowns and the inability to get out and go to our favorite meetings and see our favorite friends. But we're able to then also take advantage of this opportunity to have a little history and to have another chance to share that which became so essential to Akron, because this is where the recovery of the world began.
It's all good.
It's all good. Yeah. So join us for in a few minutes. We will begin our discussion.
7 minutes smoking her together.
Okay.
What the?
Yay. So
We're
here
gonna,
we are.
we're gonna mute for just a minute.
Okay.
Do you see where I'm?
Huh?
Click on me.
You are where? All right. Bob Fry here. I just saw you. Where are you? Huh? I am?
Yes.
All right.
Are you going to record this?
We are. Okay.
I can't hear anything.
I don't think anything's going on right now. The gatehouse is in a quiet mode. They'll come back on in a few minutes, I believe they said.
Yeah. Who is this? Okay. Oh, I've lost the. $99. Okay. All right.
People are wondering what the hell.
Yeah, here we go.
They see us talking and we're not talking to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, we're open.
Okay. Thank you all for waiting patiently while we set up. This is a new experience for us, the first time we've done anything like this. We are very glad you are here. This evening, we're here to celebrate what happened 86 years ago, 1935, in this very room. Dr. Bob met with that rum hound from New York, whose name is Bill Wilson. And it was Bill who needed to stay sober, and helping another alcoholic was the way to do it. We know where the history have gone since then, but here we are inside the very room. Most grateful that we can do this. So glad that you are all here. And we
Still got a
have
minute?
about half a minute.
Wrapping up a minute.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. So everybody be ready, because we're now going to go live from Akron.
One thing we are.
We know we do our best. So again, it is a great, with great honor that we are here today to give you some history. My name is Claire Coffey. I am a transplant to Akron. Been here 14 years and found my place in this community as someone who wanted to be of service. What we're doing again, for those who are newly just coming in, we are taking this program time for this week and 3 more weeks to discuss the 4 absolutes as they came to us from Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson here in Akron. Again, I mentioned 1935. The 4 absolutes were developed by a Lutheran minister, Frank Buckman, who thought this was the way to get spirituality to the masses. He had hoped that this was the best way to bring first century Christianity to the modern world. And again, we are saying modern world, 1935. Actually, 1921 is when he began this. So he wanted this and published lots and lots of books. They did all kinds of meeting and greeting and praying and spiritual existence. But they came to understand that there were 4 things, the absolutes, which needed to be part of everyone's life. And of course, they are absolute honesty, absolute unselfishness, absolute love, and absolute purity. So each one of our weeks, we will be discussing one of these 4 absolutes. They were the first guideposts, as Dr. Bob referred to, for the fledgling Akronite groupers who were part of the Oxford group, who then later broke away from the Oxford group to start that fellowship we're so proud of. So it took 4 years after them breaking away together to become a group that wanted to provide and pursue more for the alcoholic who needed help. So we have that now. So I've been doing a lot of talking. I will allow and invite my friend Jeff to share a little of what he knows, because his sponsor is the late Harmon Veely, who would have been with us today doing these talks. So I am really excited that Jeff can share with us today in his place. Jeff.
Well, thanks, Claire. My name is Jeff Capon. Want to welcome everybody to tonight's show. This is when Claire asked me, I was like, I'm not filling that man's shoes. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And, Harmon was a very close friend of mine. We've served on a committee now for 11 years together. He's been a very close spiritual advisor, sponsor at times. And, he's just been one of those guys that has been a pinnacle turning point in my sobriety. But anyway, I'm also not from Akron. I moved here in 2000 from Tampa, Florida, and haven't been here ever since. I've moved to North Carolina, came back, went back down to Florida, came back. And so I guess Akron, there's something about Akron and something in the water here. But I've studied the history of both the fellowship and also the Oxford group years and years ago. When I was in Tampa, I was assistant archivist to the Tampa Bay area, and back in the early mid 90s. Also, when I moved here, I bumped into Ray G, who was a very good friend of mine from Tampa, and then didn't know he lived also here in Akron as well. He had carried the archives around with him, and so I was able to read all kinds of things that you normally couldn't, get your hands on being around people that were from Akron. The absolutes. When I got, when I was coming around the fellowship, this stuff wasn't really talked about until I moved here to Akron.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about them, I read about them and all that, but it wasn't, when I got here, people were using them like it was, it was part of what they did for their daily lives. And so I started incorporating them too. It's a very good, it's an amazing kind of like balance out where you're at checkpoint. And then I can get into some more things as we talk further as to how Bill Wilson actually incorporated it into our daily work and stuff like that as well. So pass it back on
Okay,
to yourself.
thank you. We know that the four absolutes, and then there were some other things that Frank Buckman wanted to instill in the people who followed the Oxford group. And they also later became parts of the written, published book that was named Alcoholics Anonymous. And Dr. Bob himself incorporated them into his own first sobriety at the time. But Dr. Bob and Ann Smith were in a very bad financial state by the time 1935 came around. Bob was having difficulties in his medical practice. Mortgage was in arrears. I had 2 teenage children. But they found the Oxford group and was most interested in it because it gave a new perspective on how to live life. And so they both, he and Ann, grabbed onto it. Bob was an avid reader and he had to know everything. He consumed the literature, the spirituality, including the Bible and other spiritual resources, but he couldn't stay sober. Now, the woman, Henrietta Seiberling, who happened to be the daughter-in-law of the first president and founder of Goodyear Tire and Rubber, was fascinated with Oxford group also. And with the Smiths, she saw Bob's problem. He thought he was hiding it, but that's, you know, we can't hide those kinds of things. But when things got seriously bad, it just so happened that this stockbroker from New York happened to be in Akron to work on a rubber deal, which wasn't panning out for him. And in order to keep his new sobriety, he knew that he needed to talk to another alcoholic. It was through phone calls, which took him to a minister, which got him to Henrietta Seiberling. She invited this young man over to her home here, which is where we're sitting, inside the library, which is a very small room in the gatehouse at the Seiberling Center. They came. They would not come the Saturday night because Bob was too hungover, too very sick. The next day he agreed to come, but for 15 minutes. Well, once they finished dinner, although Bob ate nothing, Bill could tell he really needed a drink. The two men were escorted into this room and stayed here for 5 hours, one alcoholic helping another.
You want me to pick up?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff that I had learned, one of the things that amazed me was the fact that going further back in the history is that Roland Hazard was out there chatting with Carl Jung overseas, and and he told him, you need to get religion, and Roland comes back over, finds the Oxford group, and he bumps into Abby Thatcher.
Yeah.
And pulls Abby Thatcher in, who was a great, really good close drinking friend of Bill Wilson, and and they were in the Oxford group. It's interesting that what's amazing about this whole thing is that both Abby Thatcher was in the Oxford movement, and also out here in Akron, Dr. Bob and his wife, and they were attending the Oxford movement out here, and it was a relatively new movement, the Oxford movement, was relatively new. And to have two different people that had no idea what was going on. You cannot not see the hand of God in the entire process of the history of Alcoholics Anonymous. It brings tears to my eyes every time I read something of that sort. And it absolutely amazes me how all of this, if you were to read it, if it wasn't actual factual history, you wouldn't even believe it's possible. You'd think it was a fiction book that you were reading, the history of AA and the history of the big book, the history of everything that has ever been, that took place to put this whole thing together shouldn't have happened. And it happened because of a loving God that found that there was an extreme highly need for alcoholics all over the world. And two people sitting in this very room in 1935, 86 years ago, were able to have a conversation. And you got a stock speculator from New York sitting there talking to a doctor, and that doctor probably, kind of like right out of that movie, how are you going to help me? And Bill looks right back at him and says, I'm not here to help you. I'm here to help myself. And that statement, I could see that statement actually being stated that evening, because Bill was serious about sobriety. This whole thing had hung on by a thread, just before Bill even came out here. Things didn't even go well when he got here, and things were not looking very good. And, Bill picked up that telephone and got in touch with a reverend who put him in touch with Henrietta Seiberling, who put him in touch with Dr. Bob. And they had already been praying for Dr. Bob for months.
Yeah.
They were already praying for Dr. Bob. They had, so when Henrietta picked up the phone, she didn't even hesitate when Bill said, I'm a drunk from out of town, looking for another, drunk to help. Henrietta knew exactly who to set Bill up with, because they had already been praying, and she knew exactly what was going on, and that it was actually a definite calling from God. And so there's a lot of really fantastic history out there. Our Akron area intergroup office holds a lot of the history. They sell history books. There's a lot of great book, Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers, Pass It On, AA Comes of Age, and even another book called Not God. And that's a good book too. The Oxford movement was something that was up and coming, and by the time things started to, when they started to meet and this thing started to grow, though, Bill started to see that it wasn't going to work anymore, mixing the two together. And in one of the history books, it says, that drunks can't be absolutely anything but dead drunk. So, and it was time to start separating ourselves from the movement and into something that Bill and Bob had created, and what they call now today. But this whole thing is just, it just amazes me. And, tonight we're here to talk about the absolute of honesty. And I'll let you get started on, we're just going to keep passing things back and forth here. So
it's a long hour if we don't.
It's a long hour.
It is. So we know that the four absolutes were the cornerstone of the Oxford group. That and the other ideas, which included self-examination, confessing character defects to another human being, making restitution to those harmed, and even their giving without expecting reward. Now, those, along with the four absolutes, became a major part of the fellowship, which we know so well. But the idea of honesty has so many points to it. Like, we can read the honesty as seen in a pamphlet that has been printed and in many places is the only thing available. But we also have what is here in this very room. It's called, I don't know if you can see it, What is the Oxford Group? And so the four absolutes are included in this book. And this was Henrietta Seiberling's book. So the concepts of absolute honesty doesn't mean honest to the point of you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. It is not honest to the point of hurting someone else, their feelings, their reputation, any of that. It's not a way just for us to be pleased in that, oh, I did the right thing. No, there's so much more to it. It is.
I think you guys froze up.
They're frozen.
We all lost connection.
I'm sure they'll log back on soon.
Yes, we lost them.
Hi, darling.
Lack of AV power is their dilemma.
What book they show? A book of Silver of Henrietta Silver. I couldn't get the name of the book.
It was What is the Oxford Group? The name of the book. What is the Oxford Group?
Thank you.
I think my name is Jeannie, I'm an alcoholic. I believe the Oxford Group started in England as a church group to study sobriety. That's what I know about it.
But I think was Joe Shoemaker, the one who was there. Maybe that was the priest that contacted Henrietta.
Excuse me, this is Mary Ann. Dolly, do you want to fill in till they join back on and give us some history? Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dolly. I'm an alcoholic. Well, they did give a very good account at the beginning of the history. And I believe we're talking about the Oxford Group now. And somebody mentioned started in England by Frank Buckman, and we do know that. And the Four Absolutes was, I believe it was written by a man named Piers. And he coined those, and supposedly the source was the actual Bible, and that Jesus, and there was a book written called The Standards. And the Oxford group did adopt those Four Absolutes, and we've been told all this. It's very good. I wish they could come back and finish this great series, that we're about to embark on. And I'm trying to get a hold of someone to see if we are going to get back. I think tonight we're supposed to do honesty. And that was always the first absolute. And I don't really want to get into that. I don't want to take away from Jeff, who's got, I understand, a very good presentation, so thank you, Mary Ann, for throwing me out there. And I would love to fill in on history. But we all know that the basics, I believe, about the Oxford group. Dr. Bob and Bill were members of the Oxford group. It is definitely the greatest love story, I believe, told in modern history, especially about the disease of alcoholism, the disease of our thinking. There is no doubt. The Four Absolutes hold such great significance for our history. And for our big book, I've actually heard people say, oh, we don't do those Four Absolutes. What does that have to do?
I have to interrupt you here, please.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Listen, we had communications meltdown. Please be patient with us. We also were knocked out from only allowing 100 people. However, we found out our contract is for over 1,000. I can't tell you what's going on. Communications is, be patient just a second. Okay. And we'll continue on. Okay. I'm going to go off online and we'll get it back to, we'll end this very shortly.
Thanks, Michael.
Well, honesty. Anyways, everybody, thank you very much for being patient. This has been a unique week for all of us that's got here. This is something that is truly close to all of our hearts, and that is helping the other person that needs help to recover from this specific addiction of alcoholics. All right, well, listen, I am going to go off, and they're trying to connect you back to the speakers, and we will go from there. Do not give up on us. We have three other absolutes that are phenomenal. All right, thanks, everybody. And by the way, honesty is in our preamble. Okay, take a look at it. Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Michael. You can pick up where you left off, Dolly. I won't throw you under the bus again.
Dolly, I'm a slow writer and I didn't get all four of the absolutes. Could you repeat them, please?
Honesty, unselfishness, love, and purity. I don't want to spend so much time talking here. Maybe other people would like to share the knowledge and experience and information they have. But I'll tell you about honesty. No doubt that they would make that the first absolute, right? Because without it, none of us could get sober. Honesty is the underlying virtue that they say, is it true or is it false? That's the question we should ask. And it is the eternal search for God. And it really is honesty, truth. And I know for me personally, and I think everyone probably that's an alcoholic on here could say that we had to get honest with ourselves, before we could make any move toward that second step. I had to see who I was. And however little that would become honest with myself. and then honest with others. You know, I love this absolute, and I'm going to shut up because I could go on and on. I so engrossed in them. I wish I was as good practicing them as I am speaking about them, but that is my venture into honesty. You know, I remember when I first got sober, the old timer said to me, "You got to stop lying to everybody." And I said, "What is he talking about? How does he know me? I don't lie to anybody. It may be a little bit if I need to get out of trouble." And he said, "If you can't get honest, kid, you're not going anywhere." And I got to tell you something, he was right. He told me once, "Sit down, shut up, and stop lying to everybody in the room." And I said, "What?" And I got to tell you something. It has been a total venture in getting honest with me, who I am. I didn't even know who I was. How could you be honest when you don't even know who you are and where you're going? Honesty's the big one. They're all big, but boy, that's the first step, isn't it? It's the first step in recovery. We had to fully concede to our innermost self, surrender. There's a great deal of honesty in that first step in recovery, that I'm powerless. Who wants to admit that? You know, there were people, I've heard people that say, "Hey, what does the 4 absolutes have to do with the program of Alcoholics Anonymous?" Really, it's the thread that runs through all the steps. And if you look at the 164 pages, you'll find honesty everywhere. Usually Bill's asking us to look for dishonesty in the opposites, you know. So I think I'd like to sit back and maybe someone there can contribute something, because this is good. This is good stuff. Maybe on what they can contribute about those 4 absolutes, its pertinence to Alcoholics Anonymous. And we are kind of talking, Michael, a little bit about honesty here until we get our speakers back. Would anybody like to? Hey, Chris, you're out there. Where's Chris?
Chris is, hey, Mary Ann's here, doll.
Hi, Mary Ann. Go ahead.
Okay, my favorite part about that, until Jeff comes back, I'm sure his presentation, because he's learned from Harmon, will be spectacular. And we all love Harmon. I love my Harmon, one of the whiskey chicks. But anyhow, my favorite part of honesty in the 4 absolutes that pertains to Alcoholics Anonymous is in that last paragraph. It says, "We all want the truth to be on our side." So whenever I was new and all the gossip, I want to tell you my story and I want you to believe my story. We all want the truth to be on our side, but it's something different to want to be on the side of truth.
Nice.
It's something different. Okay, and somebody else. Thank you so much, Dolly, for filling in until the video comes back on.
Well, thank you.
Hey, Dolly, this is Brian. I'm an alcoholic. Can I jump on?
Hi, Brian.
You know, growing up in Akron, I didn't know AA, but I got to know those 4 absolutes when I got heavily into the program. And a good friend of mine who runs the sober club over in Cuyahoga Falls struggled for a long time with the God concept. And he taught me that the beauty of carrying one of them Akron coins around with the 4 absolutes on the back is that until you get the hang of the God thing, just take whatever action you have and run it through those things. Is what I'm doing honest? Is it pure? But by just focusing on those 4 filters, it's the same as trying to consult with God, which I think is just a cool concept. It looks like Jeff and the gang are back. I'll shut up.
Hey, thank you very much. That was great. It's true. That's exactly the way things work.
Good to see you, Brian.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Thank you. Yay. Well, we were starting to get a little more specifically into honesty as the absolute. And we're very grateful that you stuck with us while we were trying to figure out our technical difficulties. But we're also in a building that never had any kind of technology in it before. So it's a pretty exciting place for us to be. But the idea of truthfulness in honesty is the important thing given to us through the Oxford group, so that each of us in our own form of recovery from the disease of alcoholism would be able to take it into our daily life and learn how to live without dishonesty. What page is that in the big book? You were just telling me about the.
So in the big book, I found it very awesome when Harmon had explained this to me on page 84 in the 10th step. You know, Bill didn't put the absolutes directly into the big book, but what he did do was in the 10th step, it says on page 84, continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. We discuss them with someone immediately, and we make amends quickly. If we have harmed anyone, then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code. So if we backtrack up to continue to watch for selfishness is the opposite of selfless. Honesty is the opposite of dishonesty. Resentment is the opposite of purity, and fear is the opposite of love. So we are actually trying to achieve the 4 absolutes through our daily 12-step work and looking at the 10th step. And by the time we really get to the 10th step, we have a clearer idea of actually the 4 absolutes, in my experience, actually become a way of something that you can actually, like it says, you're watching for these things, the opposites, and when they come up, something's wrong. So I thought that was, I think it's amazing how Bill just put that in there, and honesty, like Claire was saying, it's not, to me, it's not that cash register honesty, that's that off the cuff. I can be honest with anybody, you know, when anytime somebody hands me too much change back or whatnot, it always goes back. And, you know, I just had an experience the other day where it was the same thing. And we don't even use cash anymore. And I finally did. And I don't know if they knew, you know, if they were able to count with what I gave them and stuff like that. It was a weird situation, and they gave me too much back. And, you know, it was just one of those things. But honesty in this other thing here, though, you know, one of the things I love about, you know, in the little pamphlet, a line that shoots at me is, it is easier to be honest with others than to ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, anytime I'm talking with anybody about, when we're talking about being honest, and, you know, this whole thing really isn't about, I mean, I think for me, it was just an automatic. The honesty just came, but not for me. How you doing? I'm doing great. No, and you know, I'm not. That's a lie. You know, you know, and those kind of things. When I am able to be completely honest, to thine own self be true, at the level of the what they're talking about in the Oxford groups explains how this honesty comes out. It's at such a spiritual level that it really just, it means so much more. And it is not as easy as being honest with others at all, in my experience. There's nothing that I can explain. I can't even explain that. It is just, you know, my wife will look at me and say, really? Why don't you go look in the mirror and tell that to your face? You know, and stuff like that, because, you know, it's, I try to act as if everything's okay, and, you know, things are not sometimes. And I need to be honest, because people are affected around me. Mm-hmm. If I'm not being honest with people, or if I'm not being honest with myself, and I'm not realizing that anybody around me gets affected by that, that's definitely something that I look at today. Yeah, another thing that I like out of this is truth. Truth is life, and falsity is spiritual death. It is an everlasting, unrelenting instinct for truth that counts. honesty is not a policy. It has to be a constant conscious state of mind. And that's kind of what leads me into going back to page 84 is a conscious, constant state of mind, meaning that we continue to watch. We're not waiting. I mean, this stuff's going to happen. Continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. Because when any of those four crop up in my life, it means something's off. Something's off. Things are going to happen. Life's in session. You're either a part of it or you're not. You're either connected to where you're at or you're not. And if I'm not, all kinds of things are going to pop up. And if I'm connected, I'm going to be able to see. I'm going to be able to feel and watch for that. Those four absolutes when they're not being measured correctly, I'll be able to feel things are off. And I'm grateful to have people in my life also to call me out on things. And I give them, spiritual permission to just call me out when they can see things that aren't well. So
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, the book I referred to before that is about the Oxford group, and the pages on honesty quote people like the poet Robert Burns, who says, "An honest man's the noblest work of God." Honesty must be applied to nobility of mind and purpose. So again, it goes back to, if we are too frank, thinking we are being honest with another person, we may be trying to make ourselves feel better than to be kind to another. Hey, my mother said, and so many of us have parents who said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Well, that is a similar point of being honest. We have to remember that it's God who is the ultimate, and that God's power is what we use either the right way or the wrong way. And the Oxford group truly believed in using God's power the right or correct way. And it would be ineffective to claim to be honest, just like it is ineffective if we claim that we're humble. If you think you're humble, you're not, right? If you claim that you're honest and you speak unkindly or even think unkindly of another person, that's not good either. And that's the way the Oxford group began to work into the absolutes, so that each absolute had a specific target in the sense of bringing more people closer to the ultimate, which Frank Buchanan wanted it, or Buckman, excuse me, thought that this was the way that all should go. So much of this comes from the Bible. And when we, each of us, those that I'm looking at and those of us who are listening together, know that there are times in our lives when the last one we want to think about is God. Especially when we had a problem with King Alcohol. What we did was throw that concept out and work entirely on our own. Well, where did it get us? Sicker and sicker and sicker. So following the absolutes as the guidepost for the fledgling organization, which Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson put together, which evolved into something apart from the Oxford group, has given us each a new lease on life. But being able to take these things that we learned from the original source of the spiritual program, which gave us the four absolutes, it's that which allows us to face ourselves even when we don't want to, or allow another to give us the hope of something better. So it's considered essential to real happiness, according to the Oxfordites, that it has to be part of the partnership with God and therefore with other human beings as we work toward knowing that the absolute honesty provides us the way to communicate, the way to accept criticism, be that it, the way to know when to speak appropriately, and more times than not to allow others to let go and let God. How about you?
All right. So I was just kind of spanning through this thing again too. It's much simpler it is much simpler to appear honest than to be honest. We must strive to be in reality what we appear to be. It is easier to be honest with others than with ourselves. Our searching self-inventories help, because the man who knows himself is at least on the doorstep of honesty. When we try to enhance our stature in the eyes of others, dishonesty is there in the shadows. When falsehood even creeps in, we are getting back on the merry-go-round, because falsehoods not only disagree with truth, they quarrel with each other. Remember? Everything about what Claire was saying and how most of the things that we talk about and honesty being the first step in the recovery process, and even in our first couple paragraphs on page 58 in the big book here, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. Mm-hmm. So working through bringing ourselves into the honesty I think Brian was talking about, I kind of only cut part of it, on our coins it has, to thine own self be true. And I already briefly went over that a little bit, but with the to thine own self be true, this whole thing, usually constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates, they're not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living. I mean, we're mentioning honesty a few times here, which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Mm-hmm. And what does it mean by that? The honest, if we're just talking about how our fellowship brings it in, honest with the fact that, I cannot take one drink. I'm not doing this. When I can be honest, I have to stop believing that delusional lie that I can do it this time, that it's going to be different this time. Today is going to be different. Hurrah, it's Monday. Well, it's Tuesday. So it's Wednesday. It doesn't, when I stop believing in the delusions that wrap around in my head, when I just stop and cease. And, in the beginning, it's crazy because everything that goes through my mind, every delusion I believe in, I'm being dishonest with myself, because every single time that I believed the lie, it brought me more misery. And when I came into this fellowship, things just were thrown at me in a way. I mean, the first coin, to thine own self be true, was right on there. It was a silver coin, the old aluminum ones, and somebody had taken some time to explain that to me. And you know, and they told me to do a few other things which I disapproved of, and you know, like pray and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I was willing to do something. But anyway, I was trying to get to a point and I lost it. But that happens because, you know, getting old. But you know, but that whole thing about honesty and just the idea that I can, the idea of believing the insane idea that I can drink one drink or something like that. It's went from every single day living like that to a place where that is completely removed by just taking a few simple steps and following a few simple absolutes, if you want to, if you say. And that whole thing about being honest. You know, when I can sit down with another person, like Bill sat down with Bob in this room 86 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Bill and Bob were in this room, you know, Bill was just being honest with Bob about Bill's condition, not about Bob's condition. You know, and that whole thing right there is, you know, when and it was the same thing when somebody brought that message to me. It was that person telling me, sharing their experience with me, so that I wasn't being told what to do. I wasn't being told how to feel. None of that stuff. And it was the same thing. Bill didn't tell Bob anything. Experience, strength, and hope with Bob, and a spark hit. You know, and right from this room to where we're sitting in your rooms today, you know, people have had that escape from alcohol, but the Oxford groups was more than just that. And that was the other thing too, is, you know, the Oxford, you know, Bill and Bob at one point, they had to move away from the Oxford groups because there was something more going on here. And we were starting to feel that singleness of purpose was starting to come in, that, you know, the more and more we stuck together, the more the faster, not the faster, but the more our fellowship, it united a lot more. Dropping our cigarette butts on their, you know, it was getting, you know, it was, at first I believed that it was something out of love and purity, and then it become an annoyance. But, you know,
The drunk squad.
We were the drunk squad of the Oxford group, you know.
Right.
We slowly had to separate ourselves from the rest. And, you know, in the Oxford movement, they were all about everything too, just like the Washingtonians were, you know, back in the 1800s, that Wilson did a lot of history on. And, you know, and AA, you know, they kindly separated themselves and transferred and used these four absolutes in our steps, and whatnot. And it's all good.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Just to imagine what those 5 hours in this room were like is probably, we will never know exactly, other than one drunk talking to another. And we sit here sharing this gift to you all from wherever you may be, and it's pretty awesome. The gatehouse has been refurbished and brought back to as close to the period as possible. And some of these pieces we have here are the original pieces. I don't know if you can see behind Jeff, the white chair is, as we understand it, one of the original pieces of furniture, which was found in the cyber.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Some of these other things are very.
I don't know. I just lost. Kind of. This is a Dr. Bob's house.
Oh, sweet. I thought maybe like there was somebody talking to you.
No.
Hey, Nancy, period. could I give my sellers some peace of mind?
Okay. Someone,
Please mute yourself.
Moto E5, you need to mute.
yeah. So that the people who brought this, not just a discipleship, but rather an approach to okay. All right. Thank you. We are now unmuted again, but it's such a gift. It's such a gift. And so many of us know that the life we have today is based on one drunk talking to another, someone who was not even an alcoholic, caring so much as to provide a place for them to meet, and then later to convince Bill Wilson to stay in Akron, not just to help Bob stay sober, because it actually didn't work, but also to be a part of a life of sobriety in this part of the country. We are going to be also Zooming from Dr. Bob's house. And we have the benefit of someone who's on the screen right now who will be participating with us on one of the absolutes from Dr. Bob's house. So how this expanded, how this has grown, where we are today is just remarkable. It has been an honor to be here. I don't know what more there is, unless you have some notes.
No, I can just say that starting off, you asked me last week and after the news of the passing of Harmon, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna, I mean, my initial thought was no. No. And because everybody knows Harmon, well, anybody who knows Harmon knows that, I always told him, I says, what are you looking at when you're talking? And he's always staring up at the ceiling. What is that? And but man, he was just connected. I've always enjoyed everything that he's ever had to say. So it was, I've been extremely nervous sitting in this room tonight, more so than normal. Filling these shoes. I am honored to have been asked to do this. And I was actually shocked that I was asked, but this is the being in this room is kind of cool too. I mean, that right there, just sitting in this room where, and being a part of something that was a part of something that was one of the greatest spiritual movements in the history of spirituality, in my thoughts. Started right here in this room. And from what I understand, you guys are going to be doing something at Dr. Bob's and then outside the house at one point. And I think it's really a really nice thing that, we're reaching out to the communities and doing things to share the message of whatever message we have. And that being said, I think I'm done, but
okay.
So thank you so much. It's been cool.
So it's been really amazing to brush up on some history, to be able to share that with you, to be a part of this, however long one has been here in this fellowship. It's amazing. We can all say that. I trust that each of us have had a wonderful experience being sober, and can thank those two men who came together and pushed it forward. Life is good today. Life is good. Not always easy. Nobody said it was, but following the suggestions that we've been given, look where we are today. you all came to join us in Akron, whether or not you live here, and have decided to learn some more about this amazing Fellowship of Recovery. So thank you so
Thank
very
you,
much.
Claire. Thank you, Jeff. This is Mike, and I appreciate what you've done from the bottom of my heart. To everybody, let me tell you something. Okay, this is amazing. We fixed the problems with it's a little tab on a selection, either 100 or 1,000. Okay, we forgot that. So come back next Monday. We'll take you over to the Dr. Bottom's house where it all started to begin. Thank you for joining us tonight. Until next Monday, we open our doors at 6:30. We hope you'll come and enjoy us again. Thank you. And by the way, if some of my friends are from Australia, we welcome you.
Yeah.
There's some people from Fuji. I didn't know they drank over there. Till we meet again, trudge that happy road to destiny. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You did a fabulous job.
Beautiful
Thank
job.